Darkcast Network. Welcome to the dark side of podcasting.
Welcome to episode 41 of Stop Who Does That. I'm your host, Jackie.
And I'm your host, Jenna.
And we hope you're having a great week. We just wanted to hop on today and do like a baby headline highlights today for you with a little Florida man, just switch it up a little bit. But we're not doing this in a scripted way like we used to, just kind of off the cuff and a little laid back today. So,
this case was really interesting to us, and we thought that you guys may like to hear our thoughts about it.
All right, we're coming to you today to talk about the curious case of Nolan Wells. You've probably been hearing about this in the news, and if you haven't, we're going to talk about it. And then there's another case that is very similar to this that Jenna brought to my attention, and I had never heard about it. That's very similar to Nolan.
Eerily similar.
Yeah, eerily similar. That happened a few years ago. So we're going to do that, and then maybe chit chat about a few things going on. I personally have been kind of keeping tabs on the Charlie Kirk assassin trial or preliminary hearing that's going on. So we're going to bring you up to speed on where that is, what's going on there, because the defense attorney for the assassin is also the same defense attorney for Corey Richins, who we hated so much.
Yeah, I couldn't stand them.
That horrible.
Lady,
yeah.
The judge couldn't even stand them either.
Yeah, she's doing her shit again, even in this case.
She pretends like she's aloof and like doesn't know anything, and it makes the judge so frustrated.
And then she'll object to everything, and it gets really annoying.
And
she's at it again. Yeah. So just kind of wanted to just give you guys a recap on where that stands. And then we're going to do our Florida Man segment. We're talking about doing little like 10, 15-minute episodes in between main episodes for just that segment. And we're going to do a different one for each state. Just something a little fun to sprinkle in to our show list, if you will. And it's not difficult to edit. It's not too long, so it kind of takes the load off of us a little bit.
Short and cute.
Yeah. So today's a little laid back today. I'm on my third week of overnights. I have to work 4 nights in a row, and I'm feeling a little dead today.
Yeah.
So
it's okay. I'll boost you up.
Yeah, Jenna's been great with the script writing and keeping us on track and making the schedules. So thank you, Jenna.
Yeah, of course.
She's the organizer here.
Yes. So let's get into it, Jackie. Nolan Wells.
Yes. Tell me all about this.
So he's a young man from Mississippi that was found deceased on Monday, July 6th, which was just a few days ago. So this is very recent. And like we said, you've probably heard about this. It's all over everybody's feed in social media, on the news, everything. And that's because the case kind of stands out because Nolan went on a 4th of July trip with his friends. His friends, they're all around 18 years old, just graduated. His friends are all white and Nolan is black. And he was the only black friend in this friend group that went on this trip. And so in a nutshell, they went on this boating trip. They're having a good time. They boat out to Horn Island, and the white friends come home at the end of the evening, but Nolan did not come with them. And they put in a missing persons report on July 4th in the evening, and then his body was found off the shores of Horn Island on July 6th, so 2 days later. So in a nutshell, that's what happened. A friend group, he was the only black friend, and he also was the only friend that did not return that night with them. So Horn Island, as we researched, is off about 10 miles off the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. It's a beautiful island, right, Jackie? We looked it up. It's about 10 10-mile long island, only accessible by private boat or kayak.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a very remote place. The photos are beautiful. It almost looks like a little Caribbean island. I don't know if any of you have gone on cruises, but years ago we did a cruise, and Carnival has their own private islands, and it kind of reminds me of that. So I could see why like a group of teenagers would want to go and, maybe party or whatnot in this
And
remote location.
we learned that it is very remote. There's nothing on that island. There's no like restaurant, no bathroom, no
Nothing.
water.
It even
Yeah.
says on the website, bring your own stuff and clean up after yourself because there's nothing there. There's no bathrooms,
No,
nothing. I wonder if there was even cell service, really.
true.
So,
And the videos that I watched, it was very crowded on that island. Even
mhm,
though it's remote, it seems to be like a hot spot for people in Mississippi around there to
to like party.
boat to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna take your boat out there, and so the videos I saw, almost this island was so, like, desolate, but on the 4th of July, it looked like, Daytona Beach in
Hmm.
Florida, like, it was full of people.
Oh, I bet.
All the
Yeah.
boats were lined up, and then the island was just full of people, young, young.
Hmm.
So that's kind of the environment that his friend group was in that day on the 4th of July. I don't know exactly though who was boating the boat. I I
Or
as-
who owned it.
yeah,
Yeah. It doesn't say in the news.
I assume it was one of the friend's parents.
Right.
His friend parents they were all very well off. One of the friend's parents was a doctor, one is a
Hmm.
judge. So this is a type of friend.
A judge.
Yeah, yeah, he was hanging out with. So, and then this is they're there, they're partying on the island. There are videos that have come out capturing arguments, and I think the discrepancy is that Nolan and his friends, or is that like a group next to them? It's very
Right.
hard to tell because there was so many people on the island. So there was some arguments captured, and then the stories are very different. So the friends are saying they saw Nolan talking to a girl named Katie, and the friends thought he wanted to stay with Katie, so they just like left him there, and they just,
Mm,
which I think is very rude, and I don't really think that a friend would do that to a friend, but that's the boys are saying they thought he went with Katie. Katie made a statement saying, Nolan and I did hang out, but then we parted ways. And I thought he went back to the boat with his friends.
I see. Yeah.
So both of these groups, the group of the four friends and Katie, are each saying they thought Nolan went with the other person.
Right. Yeah.
And there are no other witnesses that have come forward. There were people that said they did see him talking to Katie.
Mhm.
That's confirmed. But after that, absolutely nobody has said where he went or what he was doing.
Mhm. And then the parents got wind of it because they got a call from one of his friends. But I wonder, and again, the news reports don't say like what was said, but I wonder with how that call went. Was
Yeah.
it like, oh, well, we got back to the mainland and he's nowhere to be found? Or is he with you? Like, and then the mom, she also has possession of his phone. So that kind of leads me to believe he left his phone on the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then because the locations were pinging, like
Right.
according to the boat and then going home. And then,
Hmm.
his body was found in the water 2 days later in the morning, but they have not released the cause of death yet. However, we did learn that Nolan's parents, they hired attorney Ben Crump
Yeah, he's big league.
represent them, and then
Yeah.
they also paid to fly Nolan's body from Mississippi to Washington, D.C. to have the autopsy performed in Washington, D.C. by an independent
Mm.
autopsy,
Oh, yeah, independent medical examiner, which is
Yeah.
smart because if one of those kids' dads is a judge,
They
you
wanted
kind of
it.
don't want to trust that county to
They did,
even.
and they didn't
Yeah.
want to have the medical examiner or anyone be connected to the Mississippi police down there. So
I don't blame him.
I thought that was very wise. I'm sure their attorney may have suggested that. I thought that was super smart. So They are having the autopsy performed, and I'm sure we will find out what came of it, but they have not released the cause of death, so we don't know if it was drowning. We don't know if it was blunt force
Mhm.
trauma to the
Right.
head. We don't know if it was an overdose. It could be any of those things. I think that would tell us a lot about his last few hours once we know the cause of death.
Yeah, I think it's very wise on the parents' part to get him out of that entire state and have somebody else do that autopsy. Because we've heard it too many times, and we'll hear about it
Mhm.
in this connecting case where, an autopsy is performed and then another one's performed and they're conflicting. So it kind of removes this whole doubt, if you will. I think that was really smart.
It really was. And they so at this time, the parents have done a few interviews, Nolan's parents, which I don't know how they're able to even do that, but like I would be so distraught. But
Mhm.
they kind of pulled themselves together and they've been doing interviews, and
Mhm.
at the same time, actually, Jackie, like immediately, like on July 5th, like the next day that after he was reported missing, all of the boys and all of the boys' parents deactivated their social media accounts. All.
Mm.
So you can't look them up. You can't see any of their former posts on any platform. It was kind of giving Karen Reed vibes when they all when all the police and the people at the house, remember they all got new cell phones?
Mhm. Yeah.
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 Kind of reminding me of that. They all just kind of got rid of their cell phones coincidentally at the very same time and got brand new ones. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's also probably to protect their privacy. I don't think they
Mhm.
want people looking them up at this time. So,
I agree. I mean, it could be a combination of both things. There was another case this was reminding me of right off the bat. The Texas cheerleader who fell off the
uh,
balcony.
yes.
Yeah.
And they ruled that an accident. You're right.
Mhm.
We did cover that. And
I think her name was
they,
Brittany. Yeah.
yeah, and they deleted their social media. And there was text and there was notes in people's phones, and there was
Mhm.
all sorts of stuff that they were in a big, almost like a party setting too, where
Yeah.
witnesses were saying they
Yeah.
heard arguing,
Yep.
but no.
And it reminds me of Paul Murdaugh.
Yeah.
Remember the boating accident
Yes.
when he was driving? Yeah.
Yes. Yes, it reminds me of that too, with the group of kids partying on the boat.
Mhm.
And
How, the Murdaugh family had influence and
there was another
yeah.
boating accident down in Florida that real estate CEO, he was driving the boat. His daughter, it turned 18. This just happened. He
Mhm.
just went to trial last month and was found not guilty. A girl on that boat died because he
Mm.
crashed the boat into a bunch of rocks.
Yep.
One girl that was on the boat, she died just like in the Paul Murdaugh case. When there was one girl on that boat that died too. And
Mhm.
both of these gentlemen were found not guilty. It's like, who are you connected to? Because any other average person would be found guilty of like probably manslaughter by boat if they have something like that.
Right.
So yeah, it kind of reminded me of that too, just with the partying. And so I'm sure at this time now tomorrow will be 1 week
Mhm.
since it happened, and I just wonder if they brought any of these kids in for further questioning or the parents. I'm sure they're keeping a lot like close to the vest because like
We're never gonna stop saying that now.
they like don't want to release some of the information.
Yeah.
But so besides those cases, what this case with Nolan is very eerily similar to Tamla Horsford,
Mhm.
was a woman that was found dead in 2018. She was the only Black woman at a adult mom sleepover party.
Yep.
All white women. She was the only Black woman. They were in their early 40s. It was November of 2018. This case has had a resurgence in recent years,
Mhm.
COVID and the pandemic, but it did happen in 2018. She went to this sleepover party with a bunch of other moms. They were drinking. they were having a good time. It was November 3rd is when she arrived at the party, and she was found the next day. She was the only one found deceased. Same with the Nolan Wells case. The only Black person and the only person found deceased. She was found the next morning on a porch.
Under the porch.
Under
Yeah.
the porch,
Yeah.
face down, with lots of some lacerations and physical,
Abrasions, things like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
And they said, well, she got up in the middle of the night to have a cigarette, and she was drunk, and she had taken a Xanax, so she probably just like fell off the balcony, and that's what happened to her. And the case was closed. It was ruled an accidental death. Case closed. There was no investigation. In fact, there was no photos even taken during her autopsy. I mean,
The first autopsy.
yeah. And so she was a mother of 5 children. And it was a 14-foot balcony, and the internet sleuths and detectives that have gone into this
I
case.
don't feel like that's enough to kill you.
I don't either. And the abrasions and the lacerations were more consistent with like
a physical struggle.
struggle.
And there was like a laceration on her wrist that so the homeowner's boyfriend was like, oh, maybe she did it herself.
Boyfriend was very invested in this case from the beginning.
So much so.
Yeah, he was just.
Yeah.
What did he?
Well, he worked at the Forsyth County Court.
That's right.
And he was actually fired for accessing the case reports.
That's
too many
right.
times. So
Too many times. Now, why in the world would the homeowner's boyfriend be trying to access the case files for Tamla?
Wouldn't you were there? You knew, you know what I mean? Like, if you have nothing to hide, why are you going to look at what they have, right?
Yeah, it's like, that's not going to make you look very good.
No,
so they did it. They did a lot of interviews. They interviewed everyone at the party. Most of the people there said, they had gone to bed and that she was fully alone. She was fully alone. That's what everybody's story was. And it's just very peculiar because the witnesses that were there, their statements are in conflict, as well as the statements from Nolan Wells' case with the friends and Katie. Now, these friends at these party and the boyfriend of the homeowner, they're like conflicting witness statements as well. Some of the statements said that the homeowner's boyfriend handled the body like prior to law enforcement coming.
Mm-hmm.
That he may have moved the body. There was also could have been evidence that was disposed of, and the scene was not ever preserved.
Right. Too much contamination out.
Well, because there was no photos of the initial autopsy that prevented like any definite conclusion. I mean, it almost like Ellen Greenberg, it should have just been ruled inconclusive.
Right.
It's just, if you
too many times they just like reach this conclusion, and I don't know. I guess it's hard because like if they discovered her body untouched and someone from that party's DNA was like all over her, that would be one thing. But when you've got multiple people's DNA now on her because they probably all were touching her, moving her, now you can't say you can't say for sure why that DNA is there. And you can't prove the timing of DNA being put on a body either. So it's probably very difficult.
Yeah, they did reopen this case for a second investigation in 2021, but just as quickly as it was reopened, it was concluded, there was no criminal charges to be filed. It was almost like a cop out. Like it was a weak second investigation. It's almost like they did it just to like shut people up. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, I'm
just
sure
all the people that were coming at them, for a further investigation and a further review and another autopsy. It's almost like they were like, okay, we'll do that, but they didn't really do shit.
It was a half-assed effort, and it's tough because I mean it is very suspicious, but at the same time, like they don't really have much physically to go off of unless somebody at this party rats somebody out. right? Which they're not going to do. So it's like
At this
you kind of got your
point,
kind of like, with Ellen Greenberg, I'm like, it really does look like a homicide, but I mean, unless her boyfriend wants to confess something new, they really don't have much to go off of because remember the knives were washed and I mean, there's nothing they have now.
yeah, there's nothing. And
Yeah.
with the case with Tamla Horsford, there's nothing. I hope her husband like sued the shit out of the state. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I just don't think it was a thorough investigation at all.
No.
So you may see references as you're seeing Nolan Wells coming out
Yeah.
in the news and stuff. You may see references to Tamla Horsford, and now you have some background of that too.
Right.
So strikingly similar and
Similar. Yeah.
so eerie that they were the only Black person in
Right.
a group of white people just having a sleepover party and just having like a boating day. Like it wasn't even like they were in a bar fight. Like it wasn't like they were in a bad area. It was
Right.
they were doing normal things that we all do. So why was it that I just,
Out
and
of everyone in the group, it was them.
these 2
Right.
times, yeah, out of every single person, the only people that were deceased were the 2 Black people. I just
Yeah.
so
That's weird.
it's so weird, and I am really, anticipating the cause of death here for Nolan because that's gonna tell us a lot.
Yeah, I wonder if there's presence of water in his lungs because if you die of a drowning, you're gonna have water in the lungs. If you die prior to being in the water, I believe the lungs are typically dry or there's
Yeah,
signs that they can tell, like if you died
in the
in the water
lungs.
or out of the water.
Because
Yeah.
there'll be if you're
Yeah.
inhaling water, yeah,
Yeah.
that will show up in the lungs. If you're already dead, there won't be because you're not
Yeah.
inhaling anything.
That would be a deal breaker for me if
Yeah,
like there's no signs that he drowned, but he wound up in the water. Well, how'd that happen?
yeah.
Somebody
I
physically had to put him there.
really wouldn't be surprised if it comes back drowning, and then
Yeah.
but what happened before the drowning? Did he have drugs in his system? Was there any, thing,
Mhm. Did someone hold him under the water? Like,
yeah,
was he
was
trying
there
to swim to a boat? I don't
like, was there blunt force trauma to the head,
right.
and then they dumped him in the water, and that's how he drowned?
Yeah.
Well, I just don't think this kid went off into the water by himself for and drowned. No.
No, and he was an athlete. He was a football player.
Yes. Yes. I
So he should have had endurance, I would imagine.
Yeah, and why didn't the friends go back to look for him? When they got back home on July 4th, why in the hell did they not go back to that island and go looking for him?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? I I could never if one of my friends was missing, like if we went somewhere, Jackie, on a boat ride and like one of our friends never got back on the boat, like I would be freaking out.
Mhm.
I
I
would be
know. I
I
wouldn't have left.
Yeah, I would have went right back there, would have called the police immediately. I wouldn't have left until they got a whole search team out there. How are you going home and just, I don't know, like going about the rest of your night? Like, oh, he'll show up.
Yeah.
It's like, I was a
Kids
freaking
are so nowadays they're just like they don't have I don't think they have much common sense to be honest
no,
with
like,
you. I don't
Jackie, they were like, oh, he'll turn up. What is he going to swim 10 miles?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we mentioned that island is only accessible by boat. So how did they think he was just going to turn up?
Mhm.
It's so this case is just it just happened, and yeah, we just kind of wanted to give a little background and our insight about it and what is going to be happening in the future with the autopsy findings, and
Yeah.
then we'll see what unfolds. I mean, there could be charges pressed, there could be trials upcoming. This is just the beginning.
Mhm.
And I wonder wonder what's going in their community. I wonder what is being said down there because we're all the way up here in Pennsylvania. We don't know. But if you're in that community in Mississippi and you want to share with us what the locals are saying, we would love
Mhm.
to hear it. Like a
Yeah.
message on TikTok or our Instagram at Stop Who Does That Podcast for both accounts. We would love to hear from you. I would love to hear what the locals have to say about this. I could
Yeah.
imagine dividing the community.
I would be interested too. And we have had people reach out to us about
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's one case in particular. I'm not going to say which one, but somebody reached out to us about a
Well,
subject of one of our videos, and they were like thanking us for doing it because it involves their family. It's a whole thing,
it
and
was like
we're not going to talk about it. But I just want to say, like, they've kind of given us some information that
they
makes
were
us,
in touch with someone, and
yeah,
they said we looked them up, and when we watched your podcast, it opened our eyes to the
yeah,
reality of this person that we were
yeah,
in acquaintances with.
yeah.
And they were like, my God, thank you for doing that, because they had no idea.
Like their
Mm.
family member got wrapped up with this person,
Yes.
and they started asking questions about this person. Like a Google search led them to our video, and then they, from our research that we presented, they were able to like understand the situation, and they
Yes.
were like,
Yes.
"What the heck?"
Yes. One day we might be able to share that with you
I
when the
know.
person is deceased, like not the person who reached out to us, but the
Yeah, yeah,
that they have unfortunately have had to interact with on a frequent basis. Once that person is deceased, I
yeah,
think we will interview him because he has some fascinating things to say.
yeah. I will say, like this podcast, like starting this is like taking us on a wild ride. Like,
Yeah, we're
I
getting reached out to. People are reaching out to us I would have never thought we would have talked to someone like that person.
yeah,
I
in a
mean,
million years,
in a
like,
million years. And yeah, so and also a prison guard have been in contact with who works at the prison where Cosmo DiNardo is. He
mhm,
was the homicidal maniac from the Lost Boys of Bucks County that mastermind the killing of those 4 young men. So this prison guard, he was telling me the other day, because it was just the anniversary, the 9-year anniversary of the Lost Boys of Bucks County murder. And so this prison guard that I have been in touch with, he reached out to me during the anniversary, and he said that Cosmo DiNardo is treated like good in prison. Like he has it made. He said his parents visit him once a week. So every week he gets to see his parents, and
mhm,
his accommodations are he has a single cell all to himself. And he has anything from this commissary that he could possibly want. And it's like the
yeah.
parents of the boys, they can't go visit their son.
I
It
know. It's
actually
unfair.
me. Yeah. So that was some update that our contact at the prison shared with us about Cosmo DiNardo. And I was like, oh, I was hoping you were gonna say he's suffering miserably, but
I know.
he's not. He's living his life in the prison. He even has a whole cell to himself. And even the prison guard said, he goes, I'm even surprised at how well these inmates that are in that get life, how well they're treated. Some of them, when they know how to work the system. Basically, he said he knew how to work the system to ensure he would get a single cell, ensure he would get put on a portion of the prison that's like not as bad. And yeah, he was like, I know, it blows my mind how well some of these guys are treated.
I wonder if they have him in a single cell for his own protection, because I feel like
Yeah,
you're
if
in Gen Pop, like you're,
he's pretty
yeah.
infamous murderer. Yeah,
But I
but
think without a gun, he's probably not as powerful as he thinks he is. So,
no. What a
right?
psycho. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I'd like to believe prison is more of a hell than, putting someone to death. But
Yeah.
with that information, I'm like, maybe not
And
so
we heard of
much.
it to Taylor
Yeah.
Parker too. She has
Yeah.
her own cell too, and she has friends and girlfriends,
Girlfriends.
and
Yeah.
coffee and new clothes, new prison outfits whenever she wants. Like,
Oh, and Mackenzie Shirilla, how is she getting all dolled up in
did you
prison?
see that
Yeah.
selfie?
Yeah. I'm like, where's she? How is she turning into a Kylie
Yeah.
Kardashian while in prison is
They get
beyond
makeup.
me.
They get hair tools. You can buy all. I watched this video, to make a long story short, of this girl who she was in jail. She showed everyone like what they have access to. It's literally like Maybelline and CoverGirl cosmetics. It's not even like something from the dollar store. It's actual real cosmetics they can buy with their commissary money. And that's
Yeah.
why Mackenzie looks all dolled up,
Dolled up.
because she's getting a lot of money on her account. She could buy whatever she wants. She's doing her makeup,
Yeah.
jewelry. And it's like, are you kidding me?
I bet you her mommy does not let her suffer.
No.
She doesn't let her suffer, and they probably don't think she should be suffering right now. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it makes me wonder if we both saw the same slipper that was ingratiated into that
Oh,
pedal. Because that's what did it for me. I was like, oh, okay.
I can
Your
still see it
slipper's like
in my head.
stuck on that gas pedal like that. You clearly floored it.
And
But,
why just
yeah.
don't give her attention, like, please stop, like, posting
Yeah.
selfies.
I wish they would just stop talking about her
Yeah.
because it's just fueling the fire.
They're
Yeah.
sensationalizing it, all these
Just
media outlets, just stop.
Yeah. And like just like the Taylor Frankie Paul stuff, like I'm
Yeah,
sick of TMZ releasing these videos that
yeah,
Dakota is giving them of her crying. Obviously there's a lot going on with that relationship. It's very toxic. And I know we're getting into like pop culture, but hey, this is a special episode, guys. But I'm really frankly getting tired of them releasing the shit that Dakota gives them. It's disgusting.
yeah, it is, and it's like, I don't even want to remotely like, see it nobody wants to see it. It's
The poor girl is
annoying.
like she's suffering, okay? Like I don't condone what she did to her kids in that video, like throwing the chair
Yeah,
and stuff. And you know what? I will give her this. She takes full accountability. She really does. She
yeah,
takes full accountability. She's gone to rehab. And what the fuck has Dakota done? I haven't heard once he's checked himself into any kind of mental health,
no.
anything. All he's doing is tormenting her.
Yeah, I know,
And that makes me think of those evil men that, you unfortunately get wrapped up with and then you're trying to go through a divorce with, and they
oh,
are
yeah,
just out to get
yeah,
you.
like the War of the Roses type.
Yeah, and it's like you're the mother of their child and they're treating you like this. Like I
Oh, yeah.
wish they would just stop with her because I don't see this ending well for her.
No.
She's publicly been talking about her mental health struggles. I mean, it's like the leave Britney alone thing. It's like, can we just leave Taylor Frankie Paula
Yeah,
alone?
let people like, I mean, I can't
Yeah.
imagine going through a divorce and, like, all of these accusations and things in, like, private, let alone
The
public.
public? I mean,
I would
and to know that, like, everything that she does or says, like, somebody is waiting with a phone recording her.
Yes,
And that's really what this is turning into. Even her ex-husband's doing it too. And it's like they're just ganging up on her at this point.
I would go
These
mental
2
too.
men are ganging up on her, and I really feel bad for her in that respect. I'm like, they need to fucking leave her alone. And TMZ, like, yes, they're a gossip outlet, but at the same time, it's like, where's your humanity
They
here?
don't have
Like,
any.
they
TMZ
don't.
always goes too far. They always go too far.
With the Mackenzie Shirilla, now the Taylor Frankie Paul, and it's like I would love to see more of men that are doing weird, heinous things. Like, can we see more of like what Leonardo DiCaprio is probably doing on his weekends
Right. No, they would never do that.
with those 18-year-olds that he loves? You know what I mean? Like, why don't we publicly shame him about that?
I know. Well, we can.
I know, but it's like they're not like they're putting Mackenzie and Taylor in our faces
Yep.
24/7, and it's like, can we stop? Like,
I know. I agree. Yeah. It's a lot, and it's always, like, out there, and
yeah,
there can be good can be said from getting things out there, like with the Nolan Wells case, it's getting a lot of coverage, and
mm-hmm,
he will have justice, but there are so
yeah,
many other cases out there, and I just wanna point out, like, how many other Black people died that weekend that they are not covering. They pick and choose
yep.
what they wanna cover that will be sensationalized. There are other people that died over 4th of July weekend that we will never hear about. It's
No,
they
I know.
they pick what they wanna put in the public's eye, and they want people to focus on, and they picked Nolan Wells over probably how many other people, let alone Black people, that died on the same day.
Yeah.
So, just keep that in mind too. It's a big case, but it's not the only case. That there are a lot of other things going on that
I know. Unfortunately, they can't highlight everything,
no.
but that's a good I mean, there's just so much violence in this world and like the Lost Boys in Philadelphia, which we still need to do a follow-up on that and see if anyone's been found. And I mean, I'm noticing more girls going missing now. It's like it's kind
Yeah.
of weird how the waves just keep
Yeah.
at first
And
it's boys and then
Philly
girls and
Philly Crime Watch has been posting, I
yeah.
noticed more boys again in the last
Yeah.
week too. It's just horrible. Yeah,
It really
so
is. It doesn't need to be like this, but the world is a crazy place.
it
But yeah, before we go, I just want to touch on the Tyler Robinson prelim hearing. And if you're like me, I was kind of like wondering why are they even doing this? Like, what is
Yeah.
this about? And it's really to establish that there's enough evidence to charge him formally, and then he puts a plea in. So he actually has not pled guilty or not guilty yet, despite turning himself in. And I've been kind of watching here and there as I have time. And one thing that was interesting was they were interviewing a police officer that arrived on the scene the day of the assassination. And he said there was like a pistol holster laying on the quad there. And they were like, okay, so did you pick it up? And he's like, no. And they're like, did you test it for DNA? And they're like, no. They didn't even process it. And I'm like, wait, you just saw someone get shot and killed in front of you. And you didn't think to pick up this pistol casing? Like, I'm not in the camp of, I don't know what, you know what I mean? Like, I have questions about, is Tyler the right person? But like, at the same time, why wouldn't you pick up that pistol holster?
I think, like we were just saying, they just like want certain things to be put out there or
Yeah.
not, like, because that knowing how we know how investigations are, like that makes
Yeah.
no sense. That makes
Oh,
no.
and then that's right. He said, well, I knew from what I heard, because the guy was obviously standing there when it all happened. He's like, well, it sounded like a rifle. So I knew that wasn't the right weapon. And I'm like, but still, why wouldn't you pick it up? Like, who does that belong to? Right?
Makes
And then the other thing is that I find it weird that Lance Twiggs, Tyler Robinson's roommate slash lover, why didn't he testify in person? It's only his video deposition. Some people are saying, well, it's because it's a prelim hearing. It's not a true trial, which that may be the case. But like at the same time, everyone else is showing up in person.
Yeah, because remember David D4VD
Yeah.
when his friends and like minions were called to the preliminary hearing,
Yeah.
there was warrants issued and they were brought.
Yes, they
Like,
extradited him to show
Yeah.
up and
Yeah.
testify in front of the
Yeah,
grand
it
jury.
wasn't
So-
on like a freaking Zoom.
yeah, and this is pre-recorded. And then Tyler Robinson's defense attorney, Ms. Catherine Nestor, who we just adore, she made the case that she didn't want all of Lance Twiggs' deposition shown to anyone because it could bias the jury. So you literally see them like fast forwarding through certain parts of his deposition. I'm just like, this is freaking weird. I don't understand why he couldn't show up, and then they asked the questions that they needed to ask him that aren't going to bias the jury.
I've never
It's
even heard of that.
Freaking
Yeah.
weird, okay? Like, it's just so weird that
They're just
the way
like
these
not
things.
following procedure.
Right, and then I'm thinking like back to when I know I'm bringing it up again. The Idaho 4.
Ryan Koberger.
Yeah, remember when the surviving roommate, what's her name? Dylan.
Yeah.
Hey, age is
Close
showing.
enough.
Dylan, remember she didn't want to testify in person?
Yes, and they like protected her like hardcore.
Right. But then I'm thinking, why couldn't they just pre-record a deposition for her?
Yeah.
Like they did for Lance. Like, why is he getting special treatment?
You're right. There must be different laws. Like in
And then they gave him immunity
Oh.
to testify. And I don't know. Here's where I'm at. It's kind of weird that the person who tried to assassinate Trump was a young 21-year-old white male that looked, shall I say, like a weird facial structure. Like there's something off there. And then we've got Tyler Robinson, who kind of fits the same mold.
Yeah.
With his freaking big ass chin. And
It's almost
both
like-
people, nobody saw it coming. You don't even hear about that guy anymore that shot Trump in
Nope.
Butler, PA. Don't even hear about him anymore. Tyler Robinson, nobody freaking saw this coming. Like, even his family said he didn't even talk about Charlie Kirk. There was only one instance where he brought it up.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, do they copy and paste these people to do these events? Like they have like a set criteria. You know, white man, young, looks a little
They're angry. They have an agenda. And again, I'm not disputing that he was obviously shot. And like there are people, the Candace in the court, they believe it was the mic that he was wearing that kind of blew up. I don't think so. I think we all saw what we saw that day. The question is, it's like, is he the right person?
Yeah, is he a false? Like a false flag? Like did they put him? They're just using him as the scapegoat.
I'm
We'll
interested
never
to see what
know.
he pleads.
Yeah.
Because if he pleads guilty
And
and he
also,
already confessed, then okay. But if he pleads not guilty, it's like, why are you pleading not guilty when you turn yourself in? You confess to your roommate.
yeah.
Which, by the way, those texts seem again. I'm like, who lays all this information out? Like, he gave like a blow by blow, like everything that he did, but not so much on the why. It was
Yeah.
like, well, I got my gun out and I blah 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 blah, and this is what I did, and I laid in wait, and it's like, who does that in
Right.
writing?
Right. Because
Why didn't you just call
they
him and
wrote
tell
it
him?
for him. They probably wrote it for him and was like,
That's
just
what I'm
read.
saying. It seems very
It
contrived.
really
I
does.
don't.
It really does.
I
But
don't know. And again, I'm not getting we don't get political here. I just find it
it's just
interesting.
because a trial's
Yeah,
going on. We love a good trial.
yeah.
And there's,
And there are people out there asking these same questions. They're like,
yeah.
some things just don't add up here. And and then the gun, when it got recovered, the rifle on the towel, there was Tyler's DNA as well as Lance's DNA. And some people are like, was Lance there? Was he
Yeah.
really the one that did it and not Tyler? Is Tyler taking the fall for him? I mean, maybe, right?
They probably
But
want you to be confused at that.
yeah, but like obviously Lance's DNA is going to be on a towel because they live together.
Mhm.
So, and then he's like walking with a giant ass rifle in his pants. It's just weird.
It
Is
just
all I'm going to
leaves
say.
with more questions than
Yeah.
answers, like everything else. And there's another trial coming up this month that we're doing
Yes.
an episode on next week, and we think you guys are gonna really love it. It's I don't want to say who it is, but it's a trial that is starting in towards the end of July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, this one's a good one, and it really kind of brings up Richard Greased a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of that whole context there. And yeah, I think this person is really suffering, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's
It's
yucky,
it's
but
really tragic
yeah.
to sum it up. But
Yeah.
that'll be next week. So yeah, should we end with a Florida man?
All right, so it's time for Florida Man. Jenna, what's the date?
The date is gonna be June 12th.
All right, let's see what we get. Elderly Florida man allegedly street racing, caught driving 110 miles per hour in a 45-mile-an-hour zone. All right, let's take a look at this one. Let me share my screen.
Yeah, that's like really bad. Like an elderly person going 110.
Look how old he is. 85 years old.
Holy shit.
Oh my God, there's a video.
What was he
Let's play.
driving?
Man accused of racing another driver down US 27 in Lake County. Deputies say this man was racing a red Corvette. Listen to what he had to say when he got pulled over.
So is there any reason you guys are street racing? Because you're 110 and he's 125.
That guy, he swerved at me.
I was behind you guys since we came out of Leesburg.
Swerved at me, and he shouldn't have done that.
Okay.
And I am out just having a little ride in my favorite car, and I'm not about to do anything with anybody, but when somebody swerves at me.
Deputies say William Bosworth was going 110 miles per hour in a 45 zone. The driver of that Corvette, a 57-year-old man, was later stopped. He allegedly hit 125 miles per hour. Both of them denied street racing, saying they don't even know each other. Both were arrested and charged with racing on a highway and dangerous excessive speeding.
Oh my God.
He's lucky he didn't kill anyone.
Did you see the cigar in his mouth? Like,
Yeah, he's like, he shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have swerved at me.
so you raced him.
Yeah, he shouldn't have done that. So that's why
85 years old. He must have good eyesight to be driving at night.
he could drive so straight too.
I
Going,
know.
He could.
Oh my God, he's like gonna give himself a heart attack. What if he like stroked out in the middle?
He said, I was just out enjoying a ride in my.
Yeah, my normal car with red interior. Oh my God, how cute though.
Yeah, well,
You
I
know,
hope he had fun.
YOLO. All right, well that's it for us, guys. We hope you enjoyed this lead back episode.
Yeah, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.